He lines up the shot. He shoots. Oh, and he misses. Welcome to Geometry and Pool. I'm Ryan Ruff, and today we're going to be talking about how you can use some of the things you've learned in geometry to help improve your pool game. We're going to be setting up these shots using a compass and a straight edge. So let's take another look at that shot that I missed earlier. Watch closely as the cue ball makes contact with that 14 ball. The path that 14 ball takes follows a straight line through the center of the cue ball at the point where those two balls hit. This means that we can kind of control the direction that the ball is going to take by controlling the angle that we come in contact with it at. Before we start lining up shots like this, let's first take a minute to review the 4 basic constructions we're going to need. The first construction is that of a congruent line segment. This is going to allow us to sort of mark off congruent distances without actually measuring things. Our second construction is that of a perpendicular bisector. This is a perpendicular line that goes through the midpoint of a given line segment. Our third construction is a perpendicular line from a point off the line. And I'm actually going to do this in a very specific way. I use my compass to mark off 2 evenly spaced points on the line, and then without resizing my compass, draw 2 arcs on the other side of the line, and then draw a line from the intersection to my original point. Now, since I didn't resize my compass, this construction has an additional property that the distance from my point to the line to the point on the other side happened to be congruent. The fourth construction we're going to need is a congruent angle. Essentially, what we're doing with this construction is making 2 congruent isosceles triangles. Since the triangles are congruent, then the angles in the middle need to be congruent as well. Now that we have all our tools ready, let's take a look at the first shot. This is a straight shot, just like we saw in the opener. We're going to start by creating a perpendicular bisector in the corner pocket. What that does is that since the perpendicular bisector goes through the midpoint, it gives me a nice target point to shoot at. Once I've got the perpendicular bisector, I draw a line from the intersection through my target ball and then extend it just a little bit past. What I want to do next here is use the congruent line segment construction to find out where the center of my cue ball needs to be when it hits the other one to send it in the right direction. Once I have this point, it's simply a matter of drawing a line from there through my cue ball so I know how to line up my shot. Let's see how it goes. And it's good! Let's take a look at the second shot now. This one's a little bit trickier. I'm not allowed to combo off the 8 ball, so what I need to do here is bank my cue ball off the side. The goal being to have the cue ball hit the 7 in such a way that that 7 ends up in the corner pocket. Now, one of the ways that you can set this up is to imagine a mirror image of the pool table along the other side of that bank. I'm going to start again by doing a perpendicular bisector in the corner pocket to find the midpoint. But once I have that, I'm going to use my perpendicular line construction to reflect that over the bank. And the goal is to have a point on the other side of the bank that's an equal distance to that target. I'm also going to need to use a perpendicular line construction to reflect the image of my 7 ball over that bank as well. That way I know where my imaginary 7 ball is on the imaginary pool table. I draw a line through these 2 points so I know which angle I want this ball to go in. And then I'm going to need to do 2 congruent line segments that are each the radius of the ball. One will go from the center of my ball to the edge of the ball. The other goes from the edge to the center of where I want my cue ball to end up. Once I have this point, I can draw a line through my cue ball, and that tells me how to angle my shot. Now that I've lined up my shot along the imaginary pool table on the other side of the bank, what's going to happen to the cue ball after I hit it? Well, the general rule of thumb is that the angle of incidence is the same as the angle of reflection. What that means is that whatever angle my cue ball hits the bank at, it's going to come off the bank at the same angle in the opposite direction. If I want to model what's going to happen, what I can use is that congruent angle construction to see where my cue ball is going to go after it bounces off the bank. According to my construction here, I should be on target to hit the 7 ball. Let's see if it ends up in the corner pocket like I want it to. Sure enough, we have a successful bank shot. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.